Happy St George's Day, or belatedly Happy St George's Day, and should I even say that? This will be the focus of this video, the tension and the uncertainty about how we celebrate our own country, England, the country that gave more to the world than any other, more in the terms of science, literature, the English language, the development of plays, movies, many based on Shakespeare, and yet we are not allowed to celebrate our day in the same way that Irish people who live in this country celebrate St Patrick's Day. I enjoy St Patrick's Day. I partake in St Patrick's Day perhaps more than I partake in St George's Day, but yet I do not feel as comfortable sometimes celebrating St George's Day. Why? Because my English nationalism is moderate. My English nationalism is about England within Europe. I see myself as an Englishman and a European. And that may infuriate some people who watch this video, but that's how I feel. We've suffered 2 world wars, and English people and Germans died because of virulent nationalism on both sides, which was jingoistic. But the rights of Englishmen, the right of liberty, equality and fraternity, and the natural rights that were written down by Locke and Thomas Paine, were those natural rights: the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, the right to property and a vote, a property owning democracy. That is what England really is embodied in. You know, there has been 3 Englands in history. The England that was in the neck of Denmark before the English migrated from Germany to England, to Britain, and then created England under Hengist and Hawser, and then to arguably the 3rd England, which was the United States. The English then, after the Second World War, anglicised and is still in the process of anglicising Europe. Now we see ourselves as one Nordic Celtic race. That is the same in France, Germany, Scandinavia, England and Italy. The threads of history have drawn us back together again, and therefore we are a European people. We have our island identity, as Winston Churchill said. We were the island race, but now we're a part of the European peoples, the European Union. But that does not mean that the rights of Englishmen, to have their own parliament, should be dismissed. We have a right to represent ourselves within Europe and within the wider world, the global sphere, and to print our own money whilst we're outside of the euro. Or if we decide to become part of the euro, we still will need a central bank that is under the supervision of an English Parliament. My fear is that the English Parliament might be taken over by BNP and UKIP members who hate the EU and want to start a race war in this country, which is a trap which we will lose. Right? The English would lose that race war. I do not want this. I want English culture to assert itself, to have an immigration rate that is 4% of the birth rate of the English people. I want Scotland and Wales and Ireland to be on good terms with England. We want some autonomy even for Cornwall. And we want the different a federal England that has regional parliaments, just like Germany, as I said in my English social democracy vid. We want a social market that produces to the point of maximum social benefit. That is where production intercedes with natural social benefit to produce the maximum quality of life of our culture, our economic rights, the rights to own a house, to be part of a union, to be members of a cooperative. We need far more cooperatives in this country. that cooperatives are businesses that are owned and run by the members of that business, and they're all shareholders. That's what we need. We need both to that incorporates the strength of a union with the strength of the stock market as one entity. We need far more of these types of businesses. We need an English Parliament that is representative, where MPs cannot be elected with less than 50% of the vote. So therefore we need when you vote on May the 5th, vote for the additional alternative vote system, which will give us more clarity. We also need to have a English constitution that separates the head of state and the Prime Minister, the executive, from each other, so that there will be either the Queen of England or a President of England that has constitutional functions, which looks over the Prime Minister and sees that he is doing the legal things correctly, and that there is an army that supports the English Parliament, which swears allegiance to the English Constitution to maintain it, so that the President is checked by the Armed Forces, university system, and the intelligence services, whilst the Prime Minister is checked by the Parliament, which will be made up of people from all over England in the various federal counties of England. So I've written a English constitution, and I will may make that into a series later on. But the rights of Englishmen should be preserved. It's our fundamental right to celebrate our day the way the Irish do, the way the Scots do, the way the Welsh do. And I, for one, have always celebrated St George's Day with a meal and a good time going out and having a beer and celebrating what it is to be part of the cultural life of England. We've given so much to the world. We once ruled a quarter of the world's surface and a quarter of the world's people. We gave modern medicine, science, property owning democracy, reason, rationality and the rule of law to a quarter of the world's service. Now we've retreated from that, but we are now going in a new adventure of the English to achieve a unity with Europe, and ultimately we will be the link, as Winston Churchill said. England will be the link between Europe and America, and we will unify the Western world. Never underestimate this nation, the English nation, our nation. We are the greatest people in the earth. We will strive to defeat tyranny throughout this world. We would strive to defeat feudalistic crime families, totalitarian republics, and totalitarian monarchies. We will defeat gangsterism, crime barons, oil mafias, drug mafias. We will succeed because we have the historical experience of empire, of the European Union, of England as a mighty nation in its own right. We are a small island, but we are a massive people, a great people, and our language will be the language of freedom throughout this world, and will be the way that all peoples express themselves in their right to balance liberty and equality under a democracy for all time. That's what I firmly believe in, and that's why I'm an English nationalist, and I believe in social democracy in England. Thank you for listening.